don't know who I am, I don't blame you. My name is Chris. I do anime here about, I don't know, 5 times a week. I just watch a crap ton of anime, I discuss it, I review it, I debate it against myself. But it's getting lonely debating against just myself, so I've decided to start reaching out to other anime YouTubers and discussing points and views. So recently Digibro decided to do something of a review, really more of a teardown of one of my favorite anime, Steins 0. And it's frustrating, and yet it's cathartic at the same time. Because some of the points he made I did agree with, but the things that he based his thesis on were entirely ridiculous. So I decided to do kind of my response or my anime debate to Digibro on his video, Steins 0 Sucks, badly written fanfiction, which is part 2. And the thing is, I don't agree with him whatsoever that it's badly written fan fiction, because if you know anything about Steins Gate, it's a video game visual novel. And Steins Gate 0 is based on the bad ending where Okabe doesn't do everything correctly and his life goes asunder. Now I did a review where I greatly praised the show for, in my opinion, fixing the pacing of the original Steins Gate. The original Steins Gate to me started out very slow and then picked up over time. And I feel like this series worked in a visual and a written continuum of working in reverse. So you get the original happy Okabe, who's very energetic and fun to watch and probably one of the shining lights of the show. And he slowly gets darker and darker and darker to the end where he finds himself. With this series, Steins Gate 0, you get a very depressed, whiny, dark Okabe who eventually finds himself and comes back to the light and the joyfulness, and it's great because it's a really great redemption arc. To me, it's a story of accepting fate, accepting reality, finding yourself, and really just digging into who you were supposed to be at the end of the entire thing. Now, if you look at this show as nothing more than a fan fiction, then of course I can see that. But this show is written by most of the same people and produced by most of the same people, and it is, in my opinion, not better by any means, but it is meant to be watched together. It is a companion show. You watch this show to get a full experience of the Steins Gate world, because Steins Gate, like I said, is a visual novel. You play the game to get the story. This is the bad ending. You get an idea of how things would go if your characters didn't take certain paths. I think that it in itself works not like a wish fulfillment piece, as fan fiction often would be, but a dark, torrential torment. Because fan fiction is normally written in the world of a fan who wants to see things go their way and things be happy. And frankly, this isn't what this is. I know there are dark turns in fan fiction and whatnot, but this isn't anywhere near that. In my opinion, the Steins Gate 0 ending is one of the best pieces of media I've ever consumed. Now, I'm saying that because it made me extremely happy, not because it was written the best, but because at the very end of it, I had a giant smile on my face. And ultimately, that's how you should judge the things that you watch. Now, what Steins Gate 0 did that I think is incredible is that in this sequel series, instead of trying to repeat the same things, it grounded the story. It put it in a realistic place. It put it in a place we can all understand. It didn't go fanatical and crazy with it. It went way more simplistic. And so if people who say the original Steins Gate was boring in the first few episodes, yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. But this in no way could have done that, especially if you saw the original, because it made you more intrigued. If anything, it pulled me in deeper, wondering where this was gonna go, because it was going in uncharted territory. Bringing in the new characters was needed. What did you want them to do, Digibro? You want them to freaking have the same characters, the same plot, and the same story happen all over again, so we're watching the same exact series, just in a different, like, slightly shifted time period? Like, what did you want? You want Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Super? That's what that is. Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Super is the same series, just slightly augmented. Some characters take other characters' places, and that's it. That is what you were asking for. This series instead took a completely different, divergent plot point and jumped in different places. I don't understand how you can think or want anything else. I'm not even trying to crap on Dragon Ball Super, by the way. I like Dragon Ball Super. It is enjoyable for what it is. Stupid action. But when you ask Steins Gate 0 to not take chances and not play around with its roster and not change characters that we knew previously, I don't know what more you want. We get to explore a different side of certain characters because we get to see new elements get brought to light. Even the retconning of bringing in the future character with the red hair, I can't think of her name, to even slightly torment Okabe, to me, it's kind of great because it again shows his obsession with Christina. It shows that ultimately we never really let go of the people that we lose. Even having Christina there as an AI bot, you talked about that being a problem. I don't see why that's an issue. That is literally showing that he is obsessed with her and he still doesn't let her go. When you lose someone, if you experience loss, that person's memory lingers forever. Every little thing you do that you've done with them will remind you of them. Like, let's say I'm walking down the street and happen to see this water bottle, being carried by a girl. I can say, wow, like my girlfriend had that bottle, and now I'm triggered all over again. Him having the UI with him, or the AI, however you want to put it, having the AI with him really made him more of a tortured soul. It drove him to a point of almost obsession with his phone until he realized he can't do that anymore and he had to get away from it. It was very realistic in its portrayal, and I just don't see the problem with portraying it in that fashion. I knew they were going to bring her back. There's no reason you don't bring her back. It's not a badly written fan fiction idea to bring back a character like that. Even comic books do that. Gwen Stacy was dead for years, and they finally brought her back, and now she's a popular character now by the name of Spider-Gwen. Same thing with Bucky Barnes. Bucky Barnes was gone for years. Then they bring you back. It's not fan fiction. It's just what happens in media. Everything that dies will eventually return, and if they do it in a smart way, it's not a big deal like they did with Bucky and I did with Gwen, and how they're doing with Christina in Steins Gate Zero. It reaches a point where, they have to turn her off, and you think that's it. You're like, okay, he's letting go and he's moving on. And he does move on. He moves on as a character. He grows. He just no longer is like holding his heart to this phone and this idea of the girl that he lost. What is wrong with that? That is how humans experience emotion. That is not a fan fiction piece. I don't see it. I just don't. And I know I'm not going to get a response, but I just want to say that Steins Gate Zero does not suck. It is not poorly written fan fiction by any means. It's just a lesser series to the previous series, but it is still good nonetheless. It still holds up grains of quality. It still holds up grains of great character writing and a redemption story, a story of loss, a story of pain, a story of suffering. It's just a different story from the one that you came from before. It still uses time travel as a narrative piece, of course, but that does not mean it's lesser than other pieces of narrative. I just want to say that. It's not better than the original Steins Gate, and I don't think very much can be. That's okay. But to call it badly written fan fiction is just a lazy excuse for not liking something that wasn't exactly what you expected it to be. I'm sorry you didn't get your wish and your dream of it being the perfect series, but if you've ever played any of the games, that was never going to happen in the first place. It was never going to happen, okay? I think every conversation in the show actually matters if you pay attention to what they're saying and what they're feeling, what they're going through. Even the point where Okabe has to get slapped or punched back to reality, come back to his original self. That is a very fitting redemption arc because this character was never going to just let go of everything. He needed something to jolt him. He needed a big push. He needed something crazy to rein him in. He needed to be able to accept the fact that no matter what he does, he's going to lose someone he loves. Even if he has to go through world line after 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 world line to try to revive them, eventually he will experience loss. And being able to live past that is a human experience all on its own. I find it to be somewhat insulting to hear someone insult an anime that I found so endearing in such a manner. This isn't talking. We're not talking about like Twilight. Twilight was bad fan fiction. If you don't know, I mean, wait, no. Sorry, 50 Shades of Grey was bad fan fiction. This isn't 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey was bad fan fiction based on a bad story. This is simply put a different way of telling the same story from a different lens. And I found it to be great. I don't know. I would love people to let me know how they feel. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe no one agrees with me. But I found this to be a something of a tour de force in anime writing and being able to write a story based on another story and not lose itself in the details of trying to retread the same thing all over again when it would have been very easy to do so. things get really tricky when it comes to time travel. Anything in fiction with time travel will always get a little bit messy. But I have to say that they didn't do that here with Steins Gate Zero. Again, Steins Gate Zero, to wrap up everything, will never be better than its predecessor. But it is by no means bad fan fiction. They didn't have like really random like what? Like I don't even know what happens in fan fiction. I don't even read it anymore. I've been so out of that like scope for a long time. But they didn't have anything super crazy, obviously like doesn't belong here in Steins Gate Zero. You know, the villain fit as a villain. The characters they brought in fit in naturally. Even the fact that they had one character that was legit, the legal lolly, that was like legit foil to Christina. I enjoyed that idea that there was someone who always like kind of looked up to her but also hated her at the same time, because of course she wasn't the nicest person in the world. She had to have more of a world outside of the doors of Okabe's apartment, and being able to see that come to light through this other character was extremely satisfying. Nothing remotely freaky fanfiction-esque about that. If anything, it would have been more fanfiction-esque to bring in a character to look like just like Christina and act like Christina and duplicate Christina, and then have Okabe fall in love with her too, and that become the entire arc they follow, which I thought for a minute they were going to have a thing where, you know, Okabe and her have a relationship, but instead it's just unrequited love, which I think also works really well, because he of course has his heart given to another woman and chose that woman from the very onset of the series. So I don't get your argument, bro. My name is Chris, and anime out. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's never gonna be a thing. Anime out's not gonna be a thing, okay? I think Sir is looking for me.